So folks, please take your seat so we can start the session immediately. So now we will start our panel discussion with emphasis on the Stardom strategy, how to be superstar in your career. So we have a highly accomplished and a diverse group of experts here to address on this topic. Some of our panel members have become superstars when they were at tender age. So most of us would like to be a superstar to achieve our career goals. How do we achieve this? Since we have a lot of ground to cover and only 1 hour is left, so I will ask only one question for each of the panel member and then open it up for Q&A. So thank you so much for your cooperation. So let us start with Ramon. Ramon is VP Global Business Development at McAfee, a subsidiary of Intel, and is responsible for driving the overall bookings growth for the company's content and cloud security solutions by strengthening McAfee's relationships in the market and executing on McAfee's go-to-market strategy. Ramon is an experienced operating executive venture capital investor and has been a key leader driving growth at both public and private companies. Ramon previously served as the Vice President of Business Development at WebSense and has held product and sales management leadership positions at Proofpoint, Symantec, Inktomi, AT&T and Accenture. Ramon also spent 2 years as member of the investment team at Trident Capital, a $2 billion venture capital firm based in Palo Alto. Ramon graduated with a BA from Hamilton College in New York State and received an MBA from the Wharton School of University of Pennsylvania. So first question to Ramon, please tell us the characteristics of a star performer in your team.
So I'm just going to qualify this. So I'm going to qualify this and say that I don't consider myself a superstar. I appreciate, so I probably even shouldn't be on this panel, but you know, I think in my mind there are 3 characteristics of a superstar. So I think the first and foremost, there's an aspect of humility and really a focus on actually doing the job as opposed to, you know, there are a lot of folks that you know, there's an expression that says, you know, success has 1,000, you know, sort of people that claim it. It didn't quite come out well, but you know, what I find is that true superstars are unsung heroes, and they do what they do with a lot of humility. They don't do what they do to claim credit, but they do it because they love it and they're passionate about it. So I think the first characteristic is humility. I think I just said the second characteristic is passion, an incredible drive to succeed and sort of go above and beyond the call of duty in a lot of instances. And I think the third characteristic, which I think is very underrated for superstars, or it's very underrated in business today, is the ability to work and play well with others. So work is part of a team, and actually, and you know, we could spend an hour just talking about teamwork, but I think those are the 3 that I would highlight.
Yeah, thank you, Ramon. Now let us hear from Indranil Chatterjee. Indranil Chatterjee is Vice President of Product Management for Openwave's IP mediation platform and has over 13 years of experience in product management, marketing and software development in the telecommunications and IT industries. Prior to Openwave, Indranil was with Cineverse Technologies, where he was Director of Product Management. Before Cineverse Technologies, Indranil was Director of Wireless Solutions at Alcatel-Lucent, where he led a team responsible for the development and marketing efforts of Alcatel-Lucent's wireless solutions. Indranil holds a Bachelor's Technology degree from Institute of Technology, BHU, India, and an MBA from Duke University's Fuqua School of Business. So question to Indranil. So you have become Vice President at tender age. So what strategy you have implemented to progress in your career?
Yeah, I like the characterization of tender age, right? So yeah, I mean, again, I mean, echo what Ramon said. No, definitely not a superstar. I consider myself lucky, and in some respects, and of course, there's a long way to go before you know, we can even put that coronation. So let me start with what are the things that have helped me, or I should categorize that I've seen help superstars who are real superstars. So number one is I think it's old school. You got to work hard. There are no shortcuts that you know, lead you there. And what you see is ultimately when you see people really working hard, it translates into results eventually, right? Of course, there's an element of, you know, you got to work smart, but there is most of the cases, you know, outside of the mega lottery and, you know, a few, even those guys you find out they've been playing for 30 years and then they win, right? Most of them. So there is, so that's number one. Number two that I have seen is, and I think Ramon also mentioned this, passion, right? And I was talking to the folks at my table, is you've got to figure out what you're passionate about. And I've seen people who have gone into sales thinking, oh, I'll get into sales at Skoda, you know, I'm going to get quick money, but very soon they find out life is miserable, right? You've got a quota hanging around your neck pretty much every day, and you don't enjoy negotiating. And if you, for example, if you can't go to a car dealer, and if you hate buying cars, you know, from those used car salesmen, that's one red flag, right? You should not be doing sales, and you should not be in the game of negotiation, right? Similarly, if you get into product management because you think, hey, there's a lot of peer pressure, seems glamorous, you go in and you find out, you know, in your heart you're truly, you know, an architect or, you know, CTO. So there's a different career path. You just don't go into. So you got to have passion for what you do. The third thing, in my case personally, it helped me is you need a supportive boss. I was lucky to have a boss who was at Alcatel-Lucent, and then he joined Openwave, and he also got me here. Now, when you have a supportive boss, he can't do a whole lot for you, but what he can do for you is he will give you exposure so that his peers can evaluate you, and of course, you know, that's the thing. He gives you the platform and the exposure. If you don't, it becomes a very hard, you know, it becomes really difficult. So, you know, again, I mean, this is not a comprehensive list, but those are some of the things that I've seen have really helped somebody who wants to succeed.
So thank you, Indranil. Now let us hear from Murali Krishnamurthy. So Murali has a BE in Electronics and Communications Engineering from REC Trichy, which is now called NIT Trichy, and he is our alumni. And an MS in Computer Science from Southern Illinois University, Carbondale. Murali is a great singer, so we'll be hearing his voice like in half an hour or so. Murali's uncle, Mr. P. Balasubramaniam, motivated Murali and his brother to start Sankara Foundation, which is popularly known as SEF in USA. Murali, Sridhar and Ahmad Kushnod founded SEF in the year 1998. Murali thinks this is a God-given opportunity for him, his family and friends, and is committed to achieve Vision 2020 by 2020. Since its inception in 1998, SEF progressed from one eye hospital performing around 8,000 free eye surgeries to 8 eye hospitals collectively performing over 106,000 free eye surgeries in 2010. SEF goal is to build at least one Sankara eye hospital per state in India by the year 2020 and play a substantial role in eradicating curable blindness in India by 2020. So the question to Murali, so how do you recognize star performers within your social organization? How do you recognize and reward them?
It's a very tough question. See, somehow I don't like to separate as a star and not a star. So for me also, as they all said, it's a great opportunity. For example, even if you shine a shoe, how well you do it. You can make it creative. Spiritually they say you just have to forget yourself. No? So we can, surely what we've done is, people who have been with us for a long time, we have recognized them and delegated good work to them. For example, now we are trying to grow outside Bay Area. So we have given it to people, our executive council members. You are in charge of New York, you are in charge of New Jersey, you are in charge of Seattle. So I'm completely missing from the scene, and they're enjoying it. And everybody's attitude in charity is, for example, I used to think that I'm helping these blind people. Now it is dawning on me how much I'm benefiting. How much I'm benefiting from this, learning so much about India, and the can-do attitude. What is it that you cannot do? Our big vision is motivated by Swami Vivekananda, who says, even if you're a thief, don't be a petty thief, be a big thief. Think big. And I really don't like to accept any limitations. And that is what I see in our volunteers. We are a family, unfortunately, nobody likes to be called a star in Sankara. Muraliji, nahi, this is our opportunity. Don't ask me to talk on stage. So it's like a family, and we don't like to be separated. All the board members, I accept them to clean up after the event, because volunteers are working so hard. So board members better come and clean up after the event. So it's basically that type of. Manjula is there. You can ask. She's a volunteer. She's to be in charge of our newsletter. It's a family type environment, and we can easily spot stars. Basically, what we do is we give them more responsibilities. That's their reward. Yeah. And it's a great experience, and basically the humility should be part of it. If you think you're benefiting, where is the star there? Thanks.
So thank you, Murali. So let us hear from Zvika. So he is the CEO of MobileAppLoader. So he came up with a very innovative way of developing apps. Instead of developing apps for themselves and making money, so his focus has been developing apps for others and make money. So Zvika has been in the forefront of mobile industry for the last decade, from launching mobile games in Europe as early as 2001 to bringing mobile email to millions of users at Yahoo. Zvika's life mission is to innovate and create. Having generated several patents in the mobile space, he has embarked on a new mission to change how mobile applications are built, traded, and deployed. His professional achievements in the fields of marketing and product management span 3 continents and involve planning, positioning, and writing specifications for the next generation of products and solutions based on direct contact with customer and a strong understanding of market trends. Zvika has an MSc degree from Tel Aviv University in biomedical engineering. His master's thesis was implemented to save lives during car crashes. So question to Zvika, for a startup to be successful, good number of superstars are needed. How did you identify superstars and how do you groom them?
Good evening. So that's the key question, how to find the right people. And every VC, every CEO will tell you they always have the right people to make the right company. I think to find great people, you need to be great yourself. And I think one thing that changed my life is the Stephen Covey theory, the seven habits of the most successful people. I recommend it to everyone who wants to change their life. I think after I read my book and I got some tools to understand I can actually do stuff, and you can learn to understand who are the people that are actually, you can actually trust, are coming with good ideas, people that you have the vision. So it depends for each position, but the idea is that you first have to look at yourself internally, make sure you change. The ability to change is the biggest thing in a startup. As a startup, everything we thought we were going to do and will succeed, we actually eventually changed. And the most difficult for a person to do is to drop their own idea and to say, wow, I made a mistake, I'm just going to do it the other way. And I was talking about it when a customer comes and tells you something is wrong, your first reaction is like push back. When a person tells you something is wrong, you push back. But those are the best customers, actually. So the best input you get from people that irritate you, that aggravate you, and you have to just change, and it's going to be beneficial for you.
Yeah, thank you, Zvika. So now I open up to all the NITians who have attended today's session to ask questions. So who will ask the first question?
Sorry, I forgot your name, but you, Indranil, you mentioned the three, one of the three things that you need to be successful. So one thing that you said is, you probably said, you also need a super boss, right? The unfortunate thing is you cannot choose your boss. So you're always, you get your boss. But I think, what you probably, or at least, what I, learned is that you need a good sponsor. I mean, whatever might be the capacity, or a mentor. That could, it's lucky if it's your boss. But sometimes, the sponsorship, comes in many other ways. It could be your colleague or, some other head or, other stuff. But you need a sponsor, or, in another world, you need a guru or somebody who can actually sponsor. That's just my thought.
Yeah, I think I'll second, I'll absolutely support what you said. And one of the interesting things I read about, I think Jeff Immelt was talking in some interview, and he was saying, people join companies, they leave managers. It's so true. I mean, if you think about it, right? I mean, we've all probably had that issue and challenge at some point. But you're right. You need somebody, somebody's helping hand and guidance. If it's your boss, great. If it's not, to your point, if it's a manager, or if it's a some other executive, but somebody who can really guide you along your career, and and it's important that that person stand up for you if you're right? So that gives you enough of a air cover because most often, as you were saying, it's hard to say what you feel you want to say and make some things happen, and you need some level of sponsorship and support for that, because if people don't agree, then it goes downhill from there.
So actually, one thing I want to say about your question, I don't think you can pick your mentor, they need to pick you. So in a way,
boss, you cannot pick your boss.
But so if you're doing well, someone is going to try to grab him to his organization. So what I'm saying is, never blame the environment, external forces, boss, the wind, something. It's all you. It's all you. If you're doing a good job, you'll be picked by someone who's going to take you through your career up. But you cannot go and say, I'm going to pick this VP and I'm going to follow him and I'm going to trail him. So it's you who is making the decision, not your boss.
I was going to just joke that that's easy to say when you're the CEO, right? Because you don't have a boss. No, I guess everybody has a boss.
Customers.
Yeah.
What I was going to add, was basically to your point. It's important to, I think, focus on what you can control, and I think in a lot of situations you can't control anything. So You need to basically just dive in and try to help solve problems and really try to make other people superstars. If that's your goal. But I think in certain situations you can control. You can certainly control your sort of output from a work perspective, and you could also control sort of how your demeanor, your attitude, your engagement with your colleagues, with your customers, with your partners, etc. So I think it's really important. I think a lot of people get tripped up because they try to focus on all these external factors, as you were saying, and they try to, I need to be everything to everyone. I need to sort of impress everyone. I need to, the big boss needs to know my name and whatnot. And I think that's absolutely the wrong thing to focus on. So, my 2 cents would be focus on what you can control, and that's really yourself. As you previously stated.
Can you add? Yeah. 2 things. One is when you do what you enjoy. It happened to me because I was laid off, and I found a job in London. Then my board members convinced me to take up a full-time job as CEO of Sankara, and that's the best thing which has happened in my life. I wake up every day not worrying about compilation or memory error. I just enjoy, go talk to people, make money. So if you enjoy what you do, you can do anything. You can sweep the floor, whatever. No, that's one thing. And another, I agree with all of them. You have to take the responsibility on yourself. You cannot blame it on that or this or this. Whatever you do, the buck stops with you. When you're enjoying, I'm not doing this to please, oh, Murali is doing a great job. I need to enjoy it. I need to enjoy every part of it. Then you're a star. No?
Yes, Sridhar. You can come here.
This is a question to either Indranil or Ramon. I guess the question is about in large companies like McAfee and Openwave, how do you foster entrepreneurship? That is, how do you foster folks who want to who have those entrepreneurship skills, but really want to apply to within the company, pick up initiatives and things like that, which really, motivate them to do their best, and also give them challenging projects. Now, how do you foster that, and how do people identify those kinds of opportunities within the company?
So in terms of how do you reach out and find out, what's the, let me start actually with, even in a bigger company, and I've worked in, Alcatel-Lucent, which was a bigger company, and Openwave is a smaller size, but it's bigger than a startup, but not as big as Alcatel-Lucent. One thing you will see is, yes, the level of number of processes and sometimes bureaucracy, quote unquote, increases as you go to a startup, from a startup all the way to a bigger company. But even within that, there are always pockets where you have line of business managers or people with P&L responsibility that absolutely want to drive innovation and want to be nimble, right? They realize they're playing, like, we are in a market where constant innovation is happening, right? So if you come with an idea and a passion, along with, again, this is not a, things won't turn on a dime, but if you come with solid evidence that there's a market out there, you've done your homework, you've showed how we can win, what it'll take to develop that, and what's the time to market. So if you've thought through all of those things, think of the management team as the VC, and you're kind of pitching your product, and there are dollars. So it's a public company. I mean, we are a public company, right? At the end of the day, you got to think about your shareholders. So you've got to keep that in mind that, hey, what is the ROI? What's the time to get that, ROI? And so you will be grilled. But if the idea is right, you show kind of clear proof that, hey, we should invest in this, and there are dollars to be allocated, it will be, right? So that's kind of the first part of your question. How do you, push these things through? Probably, if you're on your own, it's a little different path in the sense, you go to VCs directly. Over here, the good news is you've got the backing of a corporation and IT and, some of the core assets that can help you. The second part of how you find out, again, I think being, proactive, going out there, looking out for mentors, looking out for key people in the organization who are making those decisions in terms of, R&D allocation and new product launch. If you align with those kind of people and you, again, do things that help them, that'll definitely get you on their radar, and that'll make you can't just show up one fine day and say, hey, I've got a product idea, you got to invest, right? You'll have to invest some time in that. That'd probably be my take.
Yeah, so 3 examples to share. I think the first example is Facebook. How does Facebook drive innovation? Right, they do these things called hackathons, where there's no monetary prizes. Right, it's just a bunch of people sitting in a room, sitting in an office, and they're just kind of going for it. Right, and maybe there are partners that they're working with, but it's part of the culture, right? It's this sort of hacking culture, and obviously, to compare someone like Facebook with AT&T, it's probably a study in polar opposites. But I think at a place like AT&T, which is sort of big and monopolistic and sort of slow moving, I'm pretty sure, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm pretty sure there's probably a chief innovation officer or an innovation council or something like that. So depending on the type of company, I think those are 2 extremes, Facebook, AT&T. But depending on the type of company that you're at, if you don't have a group that's focused on innovation, then I think it'd be an awesome challenge to try to start a group that's focused on innovation. And what I've seen at smaller companies is, sort of innovation contests that start on a Friday afternoon and end on a Sunday. And people just sort of, kind of work at their own time and try to, on that Monday, 5 different concepts get presented. And I think that's, again, it comes down to culture. But I think if you don't have that culture in your company, you can, you could definitely strive to start it. You could strive to align yourself with other like-minded individuals in the corporation. But you have to, as Indranil was saying, you have to be prepared to put in the time and the effort and do it because you're passionate about it, not because you expect to be anointed by some C-level person back at headquarters.
Hi, my name is Pradeep. This question is for Murali. There are thousands of non-profit and charitable organizations, and most of them have great visions, each one of them in fact. A lot of them don't succeed, and SCF, I congratulate you on that, is a very successfully run organization. Would you like to tell us a few aspects, because you are there from day one, what helped and what made SCF different from all these organizations? Unfortunately, why they didn't succeed, and what's going to keep, or what's keeping SCF running with the way it is running today? Thank you.
There are several reasons. I'm not able to think of just one reason. One thing which motivates me every day is Vision 2020 by 2020. We are building a Taj Mahal, not a simple house. It's a 20 hospitals and we are making an impact in every state. And that really motivates us. Even our donors, they are really impressed by Vision 2020 by 2020. It's not ending. We are going to keep going until we make a big impact. And another thing is a flat organization. People are really empowered. They can take whatever and fail. One thing we've learned is failure is not a problem. Failure is learning. So we take chances. Like in my company, Remedy, I used to love that because I can take 3 chances every year. So we did a Shreya Ghoshal event. It was a $100,000 investment. So one of the board members was supportive of me. And I said, I want to think of it as our chance card. Let's take it. So we ended up making 100K profit. So we do take good chances, big vision, and volunteers are really empowered. And some of the other things are we really follow up with the donors. If you donate, you're going to get a receipt from us. You're going to get a certificate which will tell you who's benefiting from your donation. You'll get the name of the patient. So we feedback. We're closing the loop with the donor and we communicate with the donor cultivation. So by newsletter, by email, and right from the beginning, I'm a big fan of marketing. Many charities, what I see, they are very proud of saying we are zero overhead. Then I think it's very difficult to grow. If they're growing with zero overhead, I'm really amazed at how they do it. So we want to be within 15% to get the Charity Navigator 4-star rating. But in the beginning, we did not worry about that. We are making $72,000 in the second year. I saw the beauty of TV ads. So I motivated our board members, let's invest $52,000 in TV advertisement. So now we have 45,000 donors all over the country. And we don't do anything in Ohio, Chicago, and we have donors from all those areas. So these are some of the factors. And transparency. We're not afraid of putting all our finances on our website, giftofvision.org. If in a year, in 2008, we did very badly, so be it. There's nothing to hide. I tell our volunteers, even if somebody wakes you up in a sleep, you have to say the same thing. You can do that only when you're honest. So honesty, integrity, taking chances, big vision. And whatever we do, we want to do the best. We want to do a dandiya. We're not here to beat other people, but we want to be the best. Our dandiyas are starting from September 24. One of our volunteers said, Murali, we need to take it to a convention center. Yes, go for it. We've been doing it 7 years, 5,000 people dandiya. 3 times we'll be doing successful. We make $100,000. And one of the model is we are already set for growth model. We go from state to state, new donors automatically come. So we have Andhra donors, Karnataka donors, now Punjabis, we go to UP. So it's a beautiful, very enjoyable. And we are benefiting so much, becoming positive people. And that positive attitude percolates throughout the charity. They all want to do their best. And my principle is, our volunteers should say, we did it without Murali. We did it without our board members. That is our success. That philosophy is there in Sankara. And I'm very, very happy to be working here every day. Thanks.
Murali, I just got a thought here. I think all of the others can also reflect on this. Is competition good in non-profits? Is competition good in non-profits? Like, for example, Shankara Foundation. Let's say like there is, AI Foundation, BI Foundation, so on and so forth. But having more non-profits doing the exact same kind of thing, would it actually hurt the quality, or would it, hurt the motivation, or would it actually, be good for the industry?
Tough question.
See, actually, when I say we want to be the best, we really don't think that other charities should not do well. See, I believe in reward for your performance. So if you take up a cause, you better put your heart and soul in it, and you will succeed. So if others are not doing well, it's not because of Sankara is doing well. And similarly, I know Pratham and many charities are making a lot of money, much more than us. So that gives me a motivation. How do I get there? How do I get into these foundations? So competition in a way helps. A friendly competition, we learn from other people. How do they do it so well? How do they make so much money in banquet? I'm very happy. I'm very happy for other charities because we need more charitable minded donations. All of us benefit.
Right.
Yeah.
My only thing is, okay, there are so many charities. Just take the I Foundation, that line of stuff. Would you rather like to have more similar I Foundations, different ones, or would all of us be better supporting one Shankara I Foundation?
No, it won't work that way because everybody works differently. For example, Sankara Nethralaya based in Chennai, we do 120,000 eye surgeries. Sankara Nethralaya does about 15,000, but in my opinion, they are number one in R&D. If we can cure 99.9% of the problem, they can cure 100%. They have invested a lot in R&D. If you take Aravinda Eye Foundation, they manufacture their own lens and they have a profitable model. So and blindness is such a big problem. We need more players. Today, some 2 students from University of Oklahoma called me. They are very impressed with our work and they want to do some work like this in China. And I'll be very happy to help them. With our process, we have such good processes. Model, self-sufficiency, eye donation. So why not other countries benefit from our work? But competition, Srini, if you work hard, you're going to succeed. You're not going to fail because Sankara is doing so well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the way I look at competition. It's a reward for your work. You work hard, you do good things, you're going to win. And somebody is going to beat you later, that's okay. But I'm not working to kill you. I'm working to improve myself.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. I want to achieve 2020. That is what is driving me. If other charities in India help towards our vision, I'm more than happy.
Yeah.
I'll leave this and get into some education. There's a lot of work to be done. Yeah. Thanks.
Hello. This is regarding the point made by Ramon, but the question is for everyone in the panel. Actually, you mentioned that the star performer usually get underrated, so they are not recognized basically. So what I thought was there are 2 different solutions. One is from the star performer himself, the other one is from the one who is supporting him. So one way is like he can promote himself, but I think he has a limitation. Cannot go and promote anywhere in the company. Same way, the person who is supporting him, he can mention in a meeting or like he can promote when he is giving operation, he can promote him, talk to the manager. What are the other avenues? And the star performer is really doing, but he need to be promoted across the company level. So how can he do it?
At the end of the day, it is on the performer. I think, as I said earlier, what a good mentor or a boss does is guide you, give you the opportunity to shine, give you projects that are challenging or are extremely important, right? If you're good, and if at the end of the day, what the mentor or the manager or whoever is the guy who's really supporting you, they want to be successful. Think of it from their perspective, right? If they are championing you, they want to make sure they look good, right? I mean, so what they can do is, at the end of the day, give you the forum, the opportunity, the platform, and projects or product or depending on what your line of function is, and you take it from there, right? So and you shine, you get the you make the most of that opportunity. So I think it's less verbal, it's more actions and results, but they give you that opportunity. So whether it's a new product that is getting launched, they make you either the engineering lead or the product lead or something for that, and you really hit that out of the ballpark, right? You get a product on time that gets X% market share and fastest time to market or whatever. So that's the key. I think Candy, that's what I would say, that it's just talking and saying Candy is great doesn't, nobody's going to buy it, right? What have you done for me? And just being able to get the guys, get that person working on the right things and giving him the opportunity, getting him to present in front of his peers, getting him to present to the customer. There are different ways opportunities are given, but I think from a bottoms up, grounds level, those are the things that I've seen play out and have an impact.
Yeah, I would just add that one strategy that I've seen work incredibly well is the strategy of sort of cascading superstars. And what I mean by that is, as Indranil was just saying, you have a sponsor. That sponsor, sort of takes you under their wing. They make you a superstar. So what do? You turn around and make, someone on your team a superstar, and it just sort of keeps going from there, right? So then what happens in that situation? You've got a company full of superstars, right? It sounds like a pretty good thing to me, as long as everyone can manage their ego, which is a completely separate topic. But I think that's if you have the right sort of infrastructure, you can do a lot with that. But again, it sort of starts with you. It starts and ends with you, because there are a lot of people that get made into superstars, or they become superstars, but then they don't really care about everyone else, right? But there's an expression that a friend of mine, a mentor of mine, actually says. He says, this is going back a few years. He says, your business life is like it's like a glass elevator, right? So you see the same people, going up the elevator on the way up that you see on the way down, right? So if you're not nice to someone on the way up, or if if you've got the world's greatest ego and people can't stand you, eventually everyone has to come down. So that's really the test of a true leader, is when you're at your lowest point, who actually rallies with you and helps you sort of regain your footing. But I think that's an awesome sort of image, that glass elevator, and it's something it's definitely an image that's stuck with me throughout my career.
I just want to add one thing to that. I used to think about this also. What if the superstar becomes better than the sponsor? The sponsor can be eliminated.
Yeah.
So I used to think about that. Let's say I'm empowering all these people. What if they become better? Hey, what is Murali doing? These people are better. So I think I should be ready for that. For that, you need to think of your movement as bigger than us. If that happens, I'll be very happy. That's my achievement, because I empowered them. Of course, I can find a lot of other opportunities. Maybe for this, it has outgrown me. I can go somewhere else. So that's a very good, I think about that. Thanks.
My comment, it's very, I'm going back to what I said, and actually to enforce it's your circle of influence and circle of concern. Meaning, there are things you can do about life and things you can just worry. Like news is just worry, things happening everywhere, bomb exploding, what can you do? And then there is circle of influence. I can go and I can bring new initiative at work, and at school, at the community. So it's going back to what you can do, and if you can do things good are going to happen to you as well. And managing mentors and projects, I never know how to do this. It's not my strong. I cannot give you advice. I can just refer to books. But I think it's go all the time, go back to yourself and just look what's wrong with yourself if something is wrong, and change, all the time change.
In reference to your last point, I don't think the role of a leader is to be the best person in the team. Okay, I think Jack Welch was the one who said, if I'm surrounded by my team in my boardroom and I'm the smartest person in the room, then there's something wrong. Okay, so I think the role of a leader is to actually hire the best possible talent to do the thing, which brings me to the question then, how do you manage a team of superstars? Okay, because I'm sure there are plenty of challenges in terms of personal aspirations versus team goals, individual work styles, work ethics of different people, personal goals versus how do you manage a team of superstars? The whole panel, not specifically.
it is it's challenging, right? So number one, as Murali said, unless you're Swami Vivekananda, if you're an average guy like me, you will be threatened, right? And that's fine. You have to acknowledge that when you see incredibly smart people. So especially the first time it happens to you, you will notice it, right? You will kind of, the temperature in the room will rise a little. There are some people that are incredibly smart, are saying some things that you may not agree with, but that's also just because you're being defensive, right? So I think the first thing is you got to acknowledge that hey, this is happening to me, it's normal, I got to work on this, right? If you because here's the thing, again, unless you are the biggest boss in the company, right, where Jack Welch is easy to say because he's the guy who's hiring and firing at the end of the day. Any other, if you're 2 levels, 3 levels lower, you're dispensable, right? And so that first thought will come to your mind that, I've got 3 great guys in my team that tomorrow I know if I leave the company, things will there'll be probably a few ripples, but things will work because those are smart guys and they can easily do what I do. So I think that is hard. I mean, I'll tell you, when you first that thought comes and you acknowledge that. So that's one part of it. The second part is, but you're also incredibly fortunate when you have the smart guys, because now you've got your bases covered in terms of the decisions you're making. At the end of the day, you all want to win, right? I mean, we all have a passion to win, and that's why we do what we do. So your chances of winning with an A team are much greater than the people who are half passionate, half devoted, and half as hardworking. So so now the question becomes, how do you take that energy and win? Because if the team wins, then opportunities open up, right? Eventually that guy will go and lead a business, become your peer, and you'll have to be okay with that. Because that is going to happen, that is bound to happen. As Raymond was saying, you're going to go up the lift, somewhere you will stop, get off, and somebody will keep going up, right? It's just the nature of the game. But I think that's the reality. I mean, it's a challenging. Yeah.
So one thing you can think about is abundance mentality. Usually we grow and we are educated in the scarce mentality, meaning someone puts food on the table and you have to share the food between everyone else. And there's only so much food, but in success, there's no scarce of success. So meaning if he's successful, I can be also successful, and together we can be more successful, and there's no scarce of success. So you have to think abundance. If you win, I can also win. I don't have to lose. We don't have to share the success, and that's how you'll probably grow with a team. But think about abundance mentality versus scarce mentality.
That's really wonderful. I also agree with him. Because when somebody says, oh Murali, there are so many charities in that area, nothing bothers me. I'm going to go find my space there. Because there are still so many donors, abundance. Many donors are still not convinced of any charity. So I'm going to find new donors. That's the way I also think. It's abundance mentality.
So just 2 points to add. So how do you manage a team of superstars? I think sort of make it mandatory that everyone has to check their ego out the door. Because I honestly believe that ego is the biggest destructor of team, and people just become different people. You could work with someone for 10 or so years, and they're in a role of influence, and it's people do really wacky things with power. So I think check the ego out the door, and then I'd agree with the culture of abundance, and I'd also add sort of focus your teams on a common goal, and create some competition between your superstars. Different efforts. Maybe have 3 big goals for a quarter or for a year, and the first team to get there, wins some bragging rights, and just keep the competition alive.
So last question.
have you had experience dealing with superstar attrition in general, where people leave because you want to give them the best environment, but that you can do only so much? There are investors hitting on you, hitting on the head with, you want to bring in whatever else you want to do, and the employees get demotivated, especially for a smaller company where an employee leaving hurts more than probably a bigger company.
So I make 2 points. So I recognize that in a small company, when someone leaves, it's like the member of a family leaving. But I would sort of press you to think that if the person's leaving, you're probably better off, and your team is probably better off, whether they're a superstar or not, because as my co-panelists here have articulated, whether you're in a big company or a small company, work is hard, right? And there's no shortcuts. So if someone is a superstar and they get lured away, then that might mean that their heart wasn't 100+% in your company, which is ultimately a good thing that they're leaving. It might cause some short-term pain, or it might even derail your company or cause you to innovate and change and move in a different direction. But I think that's ultimately the right move for you. And then the second just observation that I've sort of seen over the course of my career is when people get loose in the saddle and they decide to look around, the natural reaction from employers is to throw money at them. And what invariably winds up happening is people take some money, they wait another 6 months, and then they leave, because money doesn't, money only goes so far. And if you don't have the passion, and you're just, it's painful for you to show up every day, then no amount of money in the world is going to cure that problem.
So I thank all the panel members for giving good insight on today's topic. So please give them a big applause. So now we will be giving appreciation award to all the panel members. So I invite Ramesh Karnool, who is the Vice President at Cisco, to give the appreciation award to our panel members. So Indranil Chatterjee is the Vice President of Product Management for Openwave. So Zvika. So Murali Krishnamurthy, founder of Sankara Foundation. It's a small word. So Ramon, he is the Vice President at McAfee, which is a subsidiary of Peypoch. So now I would invite Sridhar and his team, NIT Surathkal team, to make announcement of our upcoming NIT job fair. And after that, Murali will be singing 3 beautiful songs. So please enjoy.
Thank you, Sridhar. My name is Sridhar Pacham.